on foot in the streets, walking as those before us have walked, chanting the holy name, you can't taste India.
Surat is near Dwarka, and so it's a traditionally Vaishnava province. They worship mostly Bal Krishna in the Balabacharya line, but any Krishna worship is very popular there. And so Mr. Jariwala was very respected in the town. And he, you know, like every day he had our kirtan route printed in the newspaper. So people knew exactly which streets we were going to be on. And they had those streets streamered with sari cloth all the way across the roads. Everybody had little white chalk auspicious diagrams in front of their houses on the sidewalk. And they were out there with kumkum and rice and flower garlands to put the red kumkum and rice on our foreheads and garland us. We got so many garlands put on us that after a while we had to take 20 of them off and pass them out to the crowd, and next thing you know we'd have 20 more garlands on. We got garlanded 50 times in the course of each procession. And people were doing artik to us in the street as we went by in the kirtan procession. Basically, that was just a ton of fun.
Generally, the women were placed in the front in Sankirtan in those days rather than in the back. And we all danced in the same way. Or sometimes we were in the middle of the kirtan party and the men surrounded us. Shyamsundar and Koshalya and Yamuna and Malati and Hansadura, Tirananda, Giriraj, Gopal. This was the time when we met Mr. John Greiser for the first time, who came to film SRILA Prabhupada, and he joined our party. I think he was the only non-devotee in our party. And that person later became Yarubara Das.
I first met Srila Prabhupada here in Surat. I'd come to India to do a master's degree thesis in photography on the origins of Krishna consciousness in India. The summer before, I'd done a couple of magazine articles on the movement. That's me in the blue shirt. I brought those magazine articles with me and showed Srila Prabhupada, and he liked them. He went through each of them page by page, much to my embarrassment, because one of them had some nudity in it. Srila Prabhupada didn't bat an eye, he just kept going through until he reached the article on Krishna consciousness. And then his comment was, even when we find gold in a dirty place, we take it. The second day I was there, Srila Prabhupada asked me, so you're going to become a devotee? I couldn't imagine myself wearing the robes and the shaved head, so I said no, although inwardly I felt I was. So Srila Prabhupada's reply was, then you cannot stay. I was naturally shocked. And I didn't leave. I stayed with the party for 2 months. Every day I'd sit in Srila Prabhupada's room, and invariably when a visitor came in, he'd introduce me. He would say, this is Mr. John. He is from America. He is an expert photographer. In this way, Srila Prabhupada encouraged me, and he could understand I was becoming a devotee gradually.
We were brought into the Durga temple. This one was new, the deity was new, she was nicely dressed and nicely worshipped. When we came into the room, I remember Prabhupada said, do just exactly like I do. And when Prabhupada came before the deity of the demigod, he bowed down before the demigod, just like he'd bow down before the Radha Krishna altar. But instead of putting his left side toward the altar, he put his right side toward the altar. He said, when you bow down before a demigod, you keep the demigod on your right. The understanding is your spiritual master is in front of you and Radha and Krishna are on your left. So you're still bowing to Radha and Krishna.